It's TGIF edition. Welcome to Breakfast Central on News Central. Already we can see everyone is patiently waiting on YouTube, ready for the big stories. And we're saying we have them. We have the big stories, and you can count on us and bank on us. And you could also actually, would I say bet on us? Well, I don't believe in that, but then again, you can bet on us to deliver, because we're going to bring to you the latest stories and, of course, bring in the experts to analyze some of the biggest stories, from the stories concerning the porting, if you choose to call it that way, from one political party to another, and the story that's got to do with the National Assembly, or better still, the Senate, where there seems to be a scruffle between two political party members on the legislation and the move, the changes and the likes. Plus, the big one, someone has been told that you're no longer a member of the Obidient, you've been sacked. That conversation is a funny one, but we'll have all of that here this morning and many more on Breakfast Central. My name is Joe Hansen. Good morning to you, Benga.
And I'm Benga Borowa. You're welcome to Breakfast Central. You've made one right decision this morning by tuning in to News Central. And as Joe said, we have quite a lot in the lineup for you today. And we can't wait for us to start the business we came here to do. Over to you, Olive, looking very royal this morning. You're giving royalty and diva look on top of your diva behavior. And I'm not sure if you use diva soap.
Diva is not a compliment these days.
Oh, diva is not?
Sometimes it's like drama.
No, diva means check your dictionary.
No,
it's
use
not everything
it.
I'll be teaching you.
Okay, good morning.
Let me make the best use of today. We want to maximize your presence, squeeze all the juice of knowledge out of you.
Is it a sin to go and leave? Is it a sin?
I can't wait for you to come back so you will tell our viewers where you went to.
I've not even gone. You're already waiting for...
Reminiscent of Abuja. Any small thing that doesn't even concern Abuja. When I was in Abuja. Now you go first travel.
even when we're discussing a story that had to do with the elections, so what we look at,
But I was giving experiential...
You are not nice. The way you are reliving this story is like, you mean her before. This is below the belt.
This was experiential analysis I was sharing with you, my perspective of when I was in Abuja. Anyway.
Are you sure you are not one of those journalists that collected land?
No, I did not collect land, though. I did not collect land, please. Good morning and thank you very much for...
Pay for your
I
land.
say yes, I will work hard and I will pay for my land. Well, unless the Lord blessed me with land. But it's not that kind of land. I don't know. I don't collect that one, though, please. Thank you very much for joining us this Friday edition of Breakfast Central. These two men have decided to start the show on a comedic note, and I have become the center of the joke. But in a few moments, I won't be the butt of the joke. What has happened in the Labour Party, or what is happening in the quote-unquote Labour Party, will be the center of the
fire
joke.
on the mountain.
My name is Olive, MOD, and you're welcome to Breakfast Central. Thank you for joining us. And just to mention that we always go to YouTube to take comments. News Central TV Live, we're streaming on YouTube. We want to engage and interact with you. Prince Ajibade, a shot was fired, though. It's me that they just ganged up against me. This is real hatred.
Men supporting
Oh,
men.
I'll miss you too, Mokunye Chikoemeka. Thank you so much for, always being here. But I will be joining the show. This time around, it's going to be great watching the show from YouTube and dropping comments, tackling both of you. I'll join them and see what it feels like to watch from the other side. But into the heart of the matter, Nigeria's opposition politics has just entered another season of Who Owns the Movement after a faction of the Obidient Movement announced expulsion of Peter Obi. Joe, are you laughing?
No. What is
And his ally, Yunusa Tanko, while unveiling a rebranded structure ahead of the 2027 elections. Speaking in Abuja, the group's new international coordinator, Barry Avotu Johnson, accused elements within the movement of hijacking its original ideals for personal and political interest, insisting the platform must return to its founding vision rooted in youth participation, accountability, and reform. The faction also announced that it is severing ties with the Labour Party and will operate independently, though it is yet to adopt a presidential candidate for 2027, a development that underscores growing internal tensions over leadership, ownership, and ideological direction within one of Nigeria's most influential youth-driven political movements born out of the EndSARS protest and the 2023 election cycle. Not my words. I didn't do the firing. I didn't do the restructuring. Let's take a look at the parties behind this drama.
We have reached a decisive resolution in the interest of justice, order, and organizational discipline. This is a breaking development. Effective immediately, the Obidient Movement worldwide, under its new structured leadership, hereby announce the dissolution of all previously constituted leadership structures that emerge outside the authority of the founding framework of this movement. Furthermore, in line with our commitment to accountability, transparency, and operational and organizational integrity, we hereby declare that all individuals who assume leadership positions or acted on behalf of the movement without the consent of its original founders are no more recognized in any capacity. In this regard, the movement formally withdraws recognition and membership status from the following individuals. Meaning that they are all expelled and remain expelled from the movement as leaders and members respectively. And number one on the list is the former Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, and Yunusa Tanko, who is holding sway right now. It comes to online, it comes to press conference.
We started the Obidient Movement after the NSAS and after the NYDP that was not registered by INEC, a political party that sprang up from the NSAS. All right? From there, we started the Obidient Movement before we adopted Peter Obi and before Peter Obi hijacked the movement and decided to bring leadership. Definitely, before it became organic, definitely there must be pen and paper on ground. How did the logo come about? How did the name Obidient come about?
Because his name is Obi?
No, that's not the reason.
Okay.
We had the Obidient Movement before we adopted an Obi.
And it was called Obidient Movement?
Yes, and we looked at it, look at the B, look at the E, take it out and put an I to suit his acronym. Just like the way we worked on Yusuf and Useful, Obedient and Useful. We did that change ourselves.
When you say we, can you tell us who is we?
I and one or two other people. Before it became viral, before everybody on social media started using it, and definitely, yes, it's organic, but it started from the decision of I, myself, and some other people in the presence of Professor Pato told me who called us, who invited us.
Did you say this was you and the other persons?
Yeah, we and some other people that their names are not sparking right now.
I was hoping you would mention
one person is dead.
Okay.
We lost him last month. The
person has a name.
I think this man deserves us to ring the bell of conscience for him.
Peter Obi's fire.
So he said the Obidient Movement started after NSAS, and then they adopted Peter Obi. Wow. That's wonderful.
I thought the Obidient Movement was named after Mr. Peter Obi, and everything coalesces around the persona and the personality of Peter Obi. So how can you fire someone whose ideals started, who is the foundation of your movement? I'm still in shock, and I don't understand his logic. But you know, where one or two are gathered, complete the rest. So,
honestly,
so we're not the only confused ones here. And to them, they're not confused. They've spent so much money to make banners,
you understand?
arms.
And then they got on TV,
yes.
They got media, you know, those when you pay,
so
you
how
pay
do
for
you differentiate the Obidient, OBI, from, how do you pronounce this? This is
Obedient.
Obedient.
This is Obe.
Honestly, I think that our political space has become like a comedy show. A number of these people, when Bovie and Basketmouth are performing, we need to create a segment called, you know, political drama, and then allow a number of these so-called politicians some time on stage to perform at you know, Night of 1,000 Laugh, or, you know, Bovie's show, or, you know, any of all these comedians who are doing extraordinary work. Because they are funny. They're really funny, and they've turned our politics into a joke.
But the Nigerian Constitution does allow for freedom of association and expression. And they feel even the Mr. Obidient himself. Exactly. You can deviate from your own principles.
Freedom of association and expression. And then you come out and make a claim such as this. That everybody literally saw when the Obidient Movement started. It's just like seeing that it's broad daylight.
It's outrageous.
And you are telling somebody that, oh, good night.
But the other aspects, you don't throw away baby and the bathwater. There are people that have remained in ADC. They went to ADC because of Mr. Peter Obi, Gbadebo Road's rival, for example, and he said he's not leaving. So there are also disgruntled elements who are not happy with his movement. So even though you are the founder, or the movement is named after you, they're breakaway factions. So.
Breakaway factions. And we need to sort of redefine what factions are. I don't know how we've come to this point where it feels like factional politics have become the order of the day, where anybody can wake up today and decide, you know what, I want to have the Oliver Modi faction of Breakfast Central. Everybody, well, we've become a joke. Our politics is a laughing stock. And it's why we have the quality of politicians that we have. People who will not come and speak about ideals and ideology, but they are just battling in different fragments for power. Because they don't even know why they're there in the first place. I don't even know what to say to this story. It's just a joke.
To be honest, what's that young man's name? Barry Avotu Johnson. I mean, that's his name. The questions I have for him is, where was he? Where has he been all these years? Where has he been since? Where has Barry been all the while since they were talking about Obidient? Secondly, I mean, one thing that makes me laugh when I saw this story is that the Obidient that we know and we've heard of is a movement. It is not a political party. So you cannot sack somebody who does not belong to a political party. I don't know if you get it.
Yeah.
So give you an instance. Peter Obi now is with the NDC, and you're saying that he has been sacked alongside Yunusa Tanko. They never belonged to a party called Obidient, which is OBE. So if you come and say they've been sacked, no longer. Also, let me look at it from the aspect of when it comes to identification or affiliation. If you also look at it from a patency angle, you are spelling yours with OBE. His own is OBI. So they both can exist.
Yeah.
However, you choose to do yours. You say it's a political party. His is not a political party. His is a name for a movement. So I really don't get it. And
there are elements of what's the legal word for when you imposters?
Defamation, fraud, perjury. No, he's not lying on that.
Are you talking about original and fake, or are you talking about
copyright issues?
Copyright issues. Well, in this case...
Wait, copyright how? So if you register the Obidient Movement, I want to believe that the real Obidient Movement is registered. What documents do you have to prove that you registered the Obidient Movement and incorporated Peter Obi? When you're making such allegations, such strong allegations, you should back it up with facts.
And he needs to be careful, and I'll say that here, because when it comes to registering and looking for patency and trying to get rights, if you say Obidient actually belongs to you and then you fired Peter Obi, if I were Peter Obi's lawyers this morning and I look at the list of the lawyers and we're like 10, and out of the 10, maybe let's say we're 15, and 3 are idle, they're not doing anything, I'll tell the 3, okay, you guys are idle, please just stand up and do something quickly. Take this guy to court. They will take him to court. He has to prove where. No, I know it's not. I know it's inconsequential. It's not necessary.
Because I feel that's giving the person too much attention. But I'm just saying that if you have lawyers like
who are just
idle, unfortunately,
I'm just saying if you have lawyers who are just idle, don't have anything doing on Peter Obi's camp, you can just tell them, wake up, don't be sitting down. Take this young man to court, because he has to prove that he accepted Peter Obi into his obedience. I mean, even NYC lawyers, he has to show pictures, he has to show signatures and documents. And if he can't do that, this is defamation of the highest order. Then they can now take him to court and say, okay, since you can't prove it, then you can now slam like maybe 100 million naira on him, and we'll see if we'll return back to TV to talk. But not that we're taking sides, we're just saying, whenever it's election period, we see all sorts, all manner, all things that we've never seen before.
And you cannot deny that Peter Obi is one of the most popular politicians at the moment, and it just feels that everybody also just wants to have a say, because you know that if it's a conversation surrounding Peter Obi, it would gain traction. We saw the outing of Peter Obi in 2023.
Sorry, I can't help but see this comment on YouTube. It said,
okay, what?
Frank Obute says, attack Obi and get paid
exactly.
promo season. Attack Obi.
Exactly.
Because attack Obi, get paid promo season.
It just feels that everybody wants to speak about it. The man will come, say what he needs to say, and then, everybody has an opinion on him. People make a lot of noise once it concerns Peter Obi. And, I mean, it's politics and politicking. I'll take a few comments on YouTube. You see, the comments are a lot. It's a Peter Obi conversation. Moki Chukwemeka says, the name Obi is a revenue-generating means for the opposition. He says, Olive, Nigeria itself is a total joke. We're not a serious people. And then he also says, how are they so quick to get these charlatans, branded shirts and caps? It's so funny. What be these ones again? It's a season and many people have a prize. They don't mean anything to the movement. I like the actual words to reply them. Frank Obute says, scammers want hammer from desperados seeking to hold on to the hijacked mandate.
Scammers want hammers.
Wow, that sounds like a tongue twister. Holiness says, please, can this man give us just one video evidence where he was supporting Peter Obi in the past? We all know who is behind his character. Henry Udechi says, this man is a big liar. Mr. Johnson says, the people are not serious. Well, they are not talking about the obedience as far as I'm concerned. They are referring to obedient. That is obedience spelled with an E as opposed to the I. I'm happy for that man with the big glasses talking because national cake finally got to his table.
Has it? Has it really?
Lenin Aquarius says, look at this man on my screen. I remember fractioned, in quote, LP man that's causing problems here and there. I asked, who is he? Now, just media houses that is gassing him because it doesn't matter. Ireo. BJ says, who is this one? Some things are not worth giving attention to. Does this make any sense? Alexandra says, good afternoon, Joe, Olive, and Benga. Welcome to Nigeria, where everything is a lie, just like my greetings. Okay, I'll come back to take some more comments. Keep them coming. Let's quickly head to X and take a few comments from X, and then I'll come back to wrap up from YouTube with the comments as well. From X.
All right, from X, Sebastian says, this is entertaining. Thank God. Now, obedience, I did see there. Obedience are okay.
It's how we have now automatically accepted that the spelling of obedience is OBI, as opposed to the dictionary spelling of OBE.
Okay, so the president has received his stray bullet when he possibly wasn't there. They said President Tinubu is playing chess. Obedience are playing checkmate. Someone should help me buy them code Pepsi and Okpa. They look so hungry.
Wow.
What a combination.
What a combination, I tell you. Bobby says, let's be clear, you can't sack a movement. You can buy a press conference. You can hire voices. You can stage a disbandment. But the Obidient Movement belongs to the people, not to any leadership structure APC can infiltrate and dismantle on cue. And Bobby is basically making the same statement that we made. But that's all we're going to take on this story. We don't
there are too many comments on YouTube.
Yeah, too many comments. We don't want to give it so much airtime because I think...
We shouldn't take a few more comments on YouTube.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let me quickly try and run through as many as I can. Ikenna Bright said, another Papa loading. Lenin says, Joe, that man is inconsequential to the obedience movement. I beg, we're okay from here. Oe says, this is one of the shenanigans from APC. Victor Okebata says, can someone ask this, I wouldn't call him that word, mercenary and his cohort, how much APC made him to make a fool of himself? Shame on shameless people. Now, we do not know for sure.
If it's APC.
We don't know for sure if it's APC or just somebody who wants to announce himself politically because now everyone's talking about him. You will know the name, just like, what's the name of that ADC guy? Don.
I still don't know
his name never sticks.
I can't remember that name.
Chinedu Brown says, it's only a ripe and appetizing mango that gets stoning. That's exactly what Peter Obi is. In Nigeria political landscape, opposition candidates are against him, ruling government are against him. And Michael Zu says, I blame the pressmen who went to listen to him. Doesn't this imposter, obviously paid by APC, look like Lamidia Papa? Again, we do not know.
We do not know.
That he was paid by the APC.
Accusations on.
All right.
But they always
let's
say
take one
the
more
witch
comment
cried.
on X. I think we have one more comment. Okay, this one is from Candy Truth. It says, big things starts with small beginnings. Everything starts like a joke until reality sets in. Atiku was the foundation member of the PDP, and for decades he held the party by the jugular, dictating and directing. But it says, but when the young Turks, led by Wike, felt that his time was up, they showed him the exit door. you thought it was a joke. Today, Atiku is out of PDP. Kwankwaso was expelled from NNPP. You said it was a joke because you thought he was the founder of NNPP. Today, Kwankwaso is out of NNPP. Obi was expelled from the Labour Party. You said it was impossible because you thought that he brought LP into limelight. Today, Obi is out of LP. It is not the small size of the press conference that is the issue. It is the weight behind the message and its timing. This is the beginning of the end for the Obidient Movement. Peter Obi is out. If you know, you know.
Okay.
Okay, candid truth.
The honest truth is that the comments will keep coming when it comes to Peter Obi.
Let's move on.
These conversations won't stop. But let's move away from Peter Obi to our next story.
Anyway, let's talk about this one. It appears that the latest fight in Abuja, by the way, is no longer just about land allocation, but about who got land, who is complaining, and who suddenly remembers the paperwork. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has accused some media organizations of benefiting from public land allocations while questioning the outrage over plots recently allocated to Nigerian ambassadors. Now, during his media chat, Wike singled out a TV channel and alleged that the station's Guzape property was itself allocated as public land for private investment and is not being used commercially. But the TV station in question, which is Channels TV, has pushed back almost immediately, insisting the land was legally allocated nearly 2 decades ago, by which the FCT minister was nowhere near the FCT by then. I mean, with all statutory fees fully paid for, or while challenging the FCT administration to publicly release the names of journalists and media practitioners allegedly given plots of land in Abuja. But the FCT minister, like we said, spoke yesterday. Let's just take a look at that video.
But also, let me, please, if I could just land on
I don't like what you say. Somebody using his private money. Wherever he gets it, it's not my business. That's not public funds.
No, my question is about what you are doing for average Nigerians. And I want to draw your attention.
Hold on.
1 second.
No.
That is the problem of Nigeria, and that's why we're where we are. Because nobody wants to see the truth. Let me say it clearly. Media organizations is not set up for charity. It's for business. How do they carry out the business? They carry out adverts, people pay. We do live coverages, people pay. Even commercial news, people pay. From such funds, they pay the operational activities and personalities. So what is difficult if somebody saying that you make money from it? Now, what was the issue? Remember that during the media chat, the journalists there asked questions that we gave land to ambassador visitors. That we don't talk about the ordinary people. That this is a misplaced priority by giving that land to people who are not supposed to have land. They know those who are supposed to have. They know those who are not supposed to have. And in my reply, I said it's not correct. Every Nigerian who is interested, who wants to do one thing or the other, will apply. Government have been given land to do. And I'm saying, let's take for example, one of the major programs was channels. And then government allocated land to you. You said they bought it, and that's not correct. No land was bought, it was allocated to you. Today, you have set up your headquarters on channel, which means you carry on business. It's not land that was allocated to you. And you are making money. You are making money. And what is that difficult? To give other Nigerians land when they can also, giving them land, they can also set up one thing or the other and also make money from the land allocated. And people should be, I mean, we cannot continue to hide the fact. I did not bring up the matter. They were querying that allocating land to ambassador dignity is a mispriority. That there are poor people.
Well, we're going to have this discussion in a fuller measure when the special advisor to the FCT minister joins us later on today on Breakfast Central to highlight some of the key issues. We have our thoughts about this, but we wouldn't share it now until Larry.
Can we just give a brief background, please? Just to mention that the background of this is based off the fact that there was a statement about the FCT minister giving land to minister ambassadorial nominees to the ambassadors, and saying that there was a video or so where he said they should fill a form and ensure that they have their land allocated to them before they leave, and that caused public outlash. And then the response you're seeing is this response about media and land. And I'm hoping that Larry Olayinka, when he joins us this morning, can help give us a clearer picture as to what the true position is.
Absolutely. But we're going to see what Nigerians are saying on that in the course of the interview with Larry Olayinka. But let's take just possibly one, because our next story is very key. Olayinka says he has oh my goodness. But you can't deny the fact that he's smart and very aware of what he's doing. But you know what? We'll pause on what Nigerians are saying right there. Let's go to our next story, because we're going to have that conversation in a fuller measure, like I said.
Absolutely.
Concerns are indeed mounting over the growing overlap between governance and politics ahead of the 2027 elections after the a video that you're going to see surfaced online showing alleged campaign-branded cash distributions to poor and elderly Nigerians in support of President Bola Tinubu. Critics argue the development raises serious ethical questions around the use of public resources, especially amid worsening economic hardship and pressure on the naira. The videos, which have triggered widespread reactions online, are fueling fresh debate over political patronage, vote influence, and the boundaries between state responsibility and campaign mobilization. Just take a look at these videos for just a split second, and we'll be right back. All right, so when that video surfaced online, it showed people spotted with the APC logo on their shirts, party. There's a longer version as well online, and they were lining up money. They were taking notes of the calculation of the money, and then the people kept coming one after the other, you know, being given monies in the envelope. Well, we're waiting for a statement to come.
Yeah,
from
I mean, we
the
can't
APC.
say for sure.
Yes.
We don't know what it is, right? This is video. It's gone online. It's become viral. There have been reactions to it. And because we're in politically sensitive terrain, it's countdown to elections, less than a year, and everything is interpreted through the eyes of a political lens.
And
so,
INEC has not officially opened campaign season.
That's,
Exactly.
yeah, well, we know that INEC hasn't officially opened campaign season. But campaign season has been
started
on
2 years ago.
since like last year.
Since the swearing
2 years ago.
the day after the
As soon as he got into power,
Yeah.
campaign started really.
Campaign started.
Unofficially, because we see...
Even though members of, let's be fair, even though members of the APC argued that no, nobody's campaigning, they couldn't help but, even when a statement had come out that stop putting billboards, stop campaigning, even from the same party, said stop campaigning, let's focus. And then when they come on air and you ask them, they say, oh, no, nobody's campaigning, stop saying that. I mean, I remember Felix Morka live on the program, and he said, why? And he was telling me, why are you saying that? You can't say that. Why are you saying they're campaigning? And I said, hey, take a look at the billboards. They're everywhere. Look at the airports. Look at everything. And then everybody's already campaigning ahead.
Everyone's already saying, aligning with the person that they want. We've seen the FCT minister saying, I support Mr. President. Everyone is openly declaring who they're supporting. Campaign.
So the only thing we're waiting for now
is the official for INEC to
yes.
blow the whistle. Where's your whistle? You didn't come to work with it today. Oh, so
It's
sorry.
on special occasion.
So sorry. But we must mention that it is not legal to give or collect money to induce people to vote for you or to be voted for. It is illegal, it is a crime, it is punishable by our laws here in Nigeria. And if you are caught, you will face the law. There are those who would argue and say, I can collect the money and then vote for who I want to vote for. It is not allowed. But we'll take some more, we'll talk about that some more later as we count down to election season. We'll continue to sensitize you on the do's and don'ts during Nigerian elections. But now let's share with you what is coming up next on Breakfast Central. Now, our top stories this morning on Breakfast Central. Former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan begins presidential race consultation. That's quite an interesting one. Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the FCT, defends land allocation. We'll be having Larry Olayinka, his aide, coming to speak to us about that. We'll also be speaking about Gabam's SDP convention, and the New Central Town Hall will be coming up much later. But we'll also be bringing you the Senate plenary this morning. Join us for all these and more on Breakfast Central. back to Breakfast Central. Fresh political conversations are emerging ahead of the 2027 general elections, following remarks by former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in response to growing calls for him to return to the presidential race. Jonathan, while addressing supporters urging him to contest, stated that the presidency is not a computer game, adding that he had heard the calls and would consult widely before taking any decision. Although he stopped short of declaring any intention to run, the statement has already triggered political reactions across party lines, with supporters interpreting it as a possible opening, while critics argue it may simply reflect political diplomacy. Jonathan, who served as Nigeria's president from 2010 to 2015, remains one of the country's most recognizable political figures, and his comments are expected to further shape conversations around opposition alliances, zoning, and the search for viable candidates ahead of 2027. To help us unpack the political implications of these remarks and what they could mean for the 2027 race, we're joined in the studio by public affairs analyst and chief press secretary to former Lagos State Governor Habib Haruna. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. You're welcome, sir.
It's great to have you. Do you think, or would you assess what former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan said as some form of a political banter? Would you would you attach some form of weight to that? Is there a potential that he might actually be running?
But Olive, before he responds, let's just watch. I'd like us to see what it was like yesterday. I mean, we saw the crowd, but let's also hear what he said.
And things are very, very clear. The key thing we need in this country is peace. Yes, you have asked me to come and contest the next elections. Presidential race is not a computer game. But I've heard you, and I'll consult widely. We leaders have not been able to build our country, give hope to our young people, and even attract others to come here and work. This is the task that face all Nigerian leaders. These things could be done by any other person, may not necessarily be Jonathan. But I've heard you. I will consult.
So now we have that statement by President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. So like I said, is it political banter or is there some weight to it? Is there a potential that he could run for office in 2027?
That's a good question. We should not forget that this is not the first time that people are consulting Jonathan to run for the presidency. Before the last election, 2023, people went there. Notable political figures who went to visit him, urging him to contest. You know, he did not give them any categorical statement. Neither was he emphatic that he will contest the election. Eventually, he did not. This political cycle, once again, people have been visiting Jonathan to contest for elections. But yesterday, the crowd was much, you know, that the man was forced to come out and address them by extension, addressing Nigerians and the media. You see, there are many thoughts that came to my mind yesterday. The first one is the Electoral Act stipulates that if you're contesting for election, you must do that before May 10th. You have 2 days to go. So Jonathan must come out between now and today's time to tell Nigerians whether he's contesting or not. 2, which platform is he going to use?
That's a very valid question.
Which platform? It's late. I think it's late in the day.
I mean, the PDP
is he joining NDC, joining ADC, or joining APC?
He was a PDP.
He can't join APC.
And the PDP is still selling forms.
PDP is in comatose, waiting to be buried.
Maybe, don't you think that he might be the resurrecting factor?
That will be a factor, but it's late in the day. And look at his body language. Look at when he was speaking. He said presidential election is not a computer game.
It's not a.
It's a difficult. It's a lot of challenges, a lot of structures, and you don't have the structure.
And talking about the difficulties,
yes.
Mr. Abibaruna, today, Friday, the 8th of May, 2026, a federal high court in Abuja today will be hearing a suit seeking to stop President Goodluck Jonathan, who has said he's only consulting from contesting the presidential elections. Amidst renewed debate over constitutional term limits and growing speculations about his possible political return. The suit was filed by a lawyer, John Mary Gideobi, who's asking the court to declare Jonathan constitutionally ineligible to seek the presidency again. Is former President Goodluck Jonathan a threat to this current administration, or will he further fracture the opposition as it is if he throws his heart in the contest?
This conversation had come up this time last year, you know, I would have maybe, well, because the man is still popular. The way he left office is still very much
honorable.
Gave him a lot of political capital, you know, and that recognized both locally and globally. Look at the way he travel out of this country to give lectures, to monitor elections, to observe things. So that gives a lot of leverage. But we're talking about next year elections. This is May 8. Today is May 8. You only need 2 days to declare his intention. So he does not have the time, they don't have the structure, in my view. Structure in the sense that he will contest him under which platform. Even in Bayelsa State, he does not control the politics of Bayelsa State, or even in River State. Jonathan does not.
What do you make of the lawsuit?
So what I'm saying is that I don't think, my personal opinion, and I've said it before on this program, that should be last year, that if he tried to contest, it would be a factor. That was last year. It would be a factor because even Asurok people are afraid of Jonathan. Or not, I don't think the time is right now.
What do you make of the lawsuit?
It's wrong. He will mess himself up. He has to run now. Because the time is not on his side. He doesn't have the structure. He may have the money, but Jonathan and popularity does not translate the structure.
But when this argument, I would say that, or wouldn't you agree that to an extent, Peter Obi laid this argument to rest in the 2023 elections, because the statements that were being made were, one, he doesn't have structure, the popularity contest, popularity doesn't transfer into votes or translate into votes. And what we saw was that he came...
They didn't win the election?
Well, he won in Lagos State, which many could not have seen coming.
To win a general election. Jonathan is telling...
That was a litmus test.
Look at what Jonathan said.
That would show the potential of what can happen.
So personal
look at what the president said. Look at body language. Just smile. Look at the way he came. He was a deputy to Alamesia. So Alamesia, they brought him to limelight. Then from there, he was picked to be deputy to Yaradua. Obasanjo used the structure to push him to be president. Then, as fate to have it, Yaradua died. He became the president. He won the election. So when he was not going for the next one, he lost. He lost because the coalition came together under APC, President Buhari, and he lost the election. He's still and he left. Look at the way he left. He's still very popular. He has a political capital intact. But not now. You can't be trying to contest. And in Nigeria, on the eve of the general elections, you cannot work that way. That's my point. I think he's wise enough. He's pragmatic enough. He has the experience. I don't see him coming to contest.
So we can readily agree that 2 days to INEC's deadline obviously shows that the former president cannot come back again.
Difficult.
So let's just say it's just for the theatrics.
Which was this time last year.
I don't know that we should say obviously.
We cannot conclude.
If it were this time last year, a week, very difficult to destroy PDP. It was wicked that destroyed PDP.
He would disagree with you on that.
No, you have a personal opinion. You can't be supporting the president that is under APC and you are destroying the party and was talking nonsense yesterday. Just pontificating. And they cannot ask him good questions.
Mr. Abibaron,
so what I'm saying is that if you had come out last year, this time last year, you would have posed a threat to the current president. But already the dynamics have changed.
Yeah. The
political equation on ground does not favor Jonathan. So I don't see him coming out. He will come out and mess up himself. Okay. I think he should just manage his reputation, make it to be intact.
Okay.
For now. But he's still young. He can still contest in the future.
Okay. But do you think that maybe the reason the crowd went to pay visits to the former president is as a result of the fact that they want him to pitch his tent with either of the three presidential candidates? I mean, we're hoping that there will be three of them, because many are saying that it may not be three. President Bola Tinubu, who has gotten the direct ticket, Peter Obi or Kwankwaso still on the OK movement, and then we're also looking at maybe the ADC would field Atiku Abubakar. Maybe, do you think this move is just to ensure that at least he should pitch his tent, stick out his neck, and be part of the electoral process?
No, I've said I don't see him coming out.
Okay.
But now, for the benefit of doubt, if decided to come out, it will be to the disadvantage of the opposition, not to the ruling party.
Because if you have four
people, you cannot
people,
effectively challenge President Bola Tinubu now.
to divide the numbers.
He has the resources, he has the numbers, and he has the national spread to contest. And during that time, we not. You see, that's why I said this time last year, the North would have seen him as an alternative to Tinubu. But now, how is he going to do it? Which platform? Which is the platform to contest? PDP is in comatose. He's going to contest under NDC.
The Zenith Labour Party.
NDC owned by his
SDP.
governor of his state. Like this thing. Or challenge Atiku.
Okay.
Who has the structure in
ADC.
And in ADC. So these are terrible. These are terrible.
Is there a possibility, with the PDP having experienced a lot of challenges and hiccups in the past few weeks, is there remotely a possibility that an announcement of a potential Goodluck Ebele Jonathan presidency will unify the party and the different warring factions?
In 2 days, that will be difficult.
In politics, you have midnight meetings.
No,
they say 24 hours is a long time in politics.
We need to have a structure in 36 states of the country, including Abuja. If you are running an election in Bayelsa State, even from Nigeria as a whole, the gamut of factors, many factors will come into play. That's why I say, if it were last year, this time last year, it would have been a threat. Because one thing about politics is that you have a candidate that is credible, that is electable, and that is formidable. And this man, you have everything, Jonathan. But the space remaining for him is difficult for him to play that game now in the national elections.
Okay, and then let's imagine...
The disadvantage of the opposition, that of the ruling party, if it's contesting now.
All things being equal, well, if Jonathan were to run, how does his running fit into the conversation of zoning in Nigeria's political space? Because that's what part of the argument that some have had in terms of 8 years of the North, 8 years of the South. How well do you think his running would fit into the zoning conversation?
One of the problems that Atiku is having now is this issue of zoning. Many people believe that implicitly, anyway, it's not written in the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Implicitly, that is a turn on the South. That's why people like Wagwaso, that's the game they are playing by following Obi from NDC.
To ADC.
From ADC to NDC.
To NDC, rather.
So now, it will be that was the argument of people that approached him last year too, approached Jonathan last year. They want him to be a counterforce to the dominance of Tinubu in the political space. But he did not give any commitment. Even now, he did not give any commitment. He said, let me consult.
Which is what he said the other time.
Which is what he said all the time. We were just playing safe, playing well. I don't see him contesting. I see him as one that is jealous of his reputation. We want it intact. So I will hope that he does not dabble into
it. Even the former first lady is not really interested. Remember that time when she was saying that?
If he doesn't contest now, not contest again in the next 8 years. Because after Tinubu, probably we move to the North.
I mean, there are millions of Nigerians. Why do we feel people that need to contest have to be recycled amongst...
No. That is the nature of our politics.
But let's talk about endorsements. I mean, we have a culture here that former presidents don't openly endorse candidates, even though you could tell where they're leaning to with their body language or the type of letters they write to the sitting president, in the case of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And we've seen Mr. Peter Obi, he's been to Niger State to see the former military ruler, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, and also they move around and consult people. How much effects does the endorsement, I mean, if President Jonathan, like you said, it's 2 days, in 2 days' time, the gates will be closed and we will know who's contesting and not. So in the event that it doesn't throw his hat into the ring, do you see him endorsing any of the political gladiators, and how much weight would it carry?
And endorsement in politics is a product of the structure that you have. Why did they call Tinubu a kingmaker, became president? Because he has structure.
So it's not just...
Tinubu controls Southwest. That is structure. He has the structure. Tinubu is the leader of Lagos, the owner of Lagos. But the structure. When the contest election in Lagos, but one seek his endorsement. Because he has the structure. So Jonathan does not have that structure. So if he's endorsing anybody, that will just be on paper. If Babangida is endorsing anybody, it's because of the people that he has in the political space that he can push, can influence to sponsor that particular candidate. So Jonathan endorsing anybody to me is not that consequential.
I mean, but this is the same person you said is respected.
If he's that powerful,
he has national...
should have rescued PDP from collapse.
Well, maybe at the time he had no interest.
Jonathan is a product of PDP structures. Now the structure is used
his former
to consummate the structure is used. So I was thinking that if he was that powerful, he should have been able to rescue that party
He's an elder statesman
and make it still effective for people to use to get into power. No. He did not do that. He allowed the likes of Wike to control it, to control and kill it eventually.
I mean, recently, I know you have your thoughts on that. That very popular conversation. The FCT minister saying some journalists collected land and so on.
Because they asked a question.
But before we move there, I still want to talk about Jonathan.
We would like you to react to that story. I know you are aware of the story.
As a seasoned journalist.
No, I have a name. If anybody is uncomfortable with my statement, there are many avenues. Go to court. We meet in court. There's nothing like bragging anybody. This is a democratic space.
Yeah.
And I have a right, as a Nigerian, constitutionally, to hear my views. Using your platform anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're not comfortable with what I'm saying,
okay.
You can call what I'm saying is my personal opinion, not that of New Central.
Yeah, no, I know. I wanted to get your reaction. I wanted to get your reaction on what the FC minister said about media houses taking land. So the reason why they are giving lands to ambassadors. But we'll leave that for later. Maybe that will be like our final question. But still sticking to President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and the call for him to run again, the deadline, which is just 2 days from now, looking at the opposition, looking at PDP, which is in dire straits, and then looking at the fact that till now, we haven't seen a lot of old, let's say, we will call them old politicians who have really stuck out their neck to select those they think will actually make up the three-horse race, just as the embattled El Rufai had called them. What is your take on the fact that the former president, in that speech while he was talking to the youth, he talked about PVCs. He said he was certain that about 50% of them don't have their PVCs, but yet they were coming to him to call and then challenge them to go and get their PVCs. We've seen election campaigns which have started, whether you like it or not, 2 years ago, we're talking about that. And now we're getting into the thick of the action.
Correct.
PVCs not collected by many, INEC in the eye of the storm. What do you think will make this particular election different, that will make it stand out from that of 2023, seeing the players that are going in? It seems like we're going to have a repetition of what happened in 2023.
That's a very good question, very vital question. President Obama, former president of USA, Barack Obama said when he was campaigning for a candidate in the last election, elections have consequences. Elections have consequences. You see, it's easier for you to sit at home, rolling your phone, making noise, say you are obedient, say you are city boys, or the rest. You need to make that deliberate attempt, deliberate action to make sure. I was telling you guys here, maybe four weeks ago, that my PVC, I keep it like my passport, a general passport. Because that is my power. That is my power. If my children, anyone that is above 18, I'm sure that they are PVC, even though we differ in terms of political
leaning.
Absolutely leaning. They believe in Peter Obi, and I believe in Bola Tinubu. I'm an APC person. So that's my personal opinion. But I believe more in Nigeria than individual. So these people shouting. That's why I've been telling you guys that Obi's popularity can never translate to power. There's no structures. There are no strategic plans. There are no alliances. We have said it here many times. Those guys making noise on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram, they should go and get their PVC.
So you think he hasn't consolidated since the last elections?
No, I don't know. Obi is popular. And I said that Obi as a person, I've known him as a human being fantastic individual. He's not faking it. I've said many things I came back with him about 13, 14 years ago when he was governor. We went to visit him in Anambra State. After the interactive session, we moved to the next room for dinner. Obi was waiting for us to serve us. He wore this in apron and he was serving us. This time, Peter Obi. So he's not faking anything. That's his nature.
That's who he is.
And that is why the man is popular. He has his own plan for Nigeria. You know, and I wish him well. But we need to be pragmatic, need to be decisive and deliberate in his actions to show that, yes, I can win an election, national elections, not just South, South, Southeast and Lagos. That's what I'm saying. So for people that are making us in this social media, they should get their PVC. And INEC, we need to tell INEC to make this PVC available to Nigerians. That's the only weapon we have.
But it's not getting exactly. So there's one angle is getting the PVC, the other angle is actually showing up and people believing in the Independent National Electoral Commission's decision. You know, we've seen that over the course of the years, there have been those who actively say that they do not trust INEC. So the role of trusting INEC is a huge, part of determining the strength of our democracy.
Can I say something on that?
Okay, please.
You see, if you say you don't trust INEC, that's simplistic. You have a PVC. You have a family, do you have PVC? Are you making moves to make sure that you participate in the electoral process? You must participate in it first. And if all of us are shouting that we want transparent, credible, fair elections, they will listen to us. But the first thing to do is to make sure you have a PVC. That's what we use to vote.
All right.
So it's not saying that I don't believe, I don't trust INEC. No, we trust INEC how?
All right. As we wrap up,
I don't like to travel abroad and you don't have passports.
You get the point I'm making?
Yeah. As we wrap up the conversation on former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, I mean, there are rumors and reports that have said that he's been courted by the NNPP, by the ADC, and that a number of these parties have asked him and the PDP to come and run under them. Today is the 8th of May. The court's hearing is happening today, I believe. We'll be knowing whether or not he's eligible to run for office, because according to our laws, anyone who's completed the term of a former president would only be allowed to be voted in for a single term, and that's what has caused
the law has been clear.
This debate.
Experts, they've told us that the man is qualified based on the electoral act and our constitution. Jonathan is qualified to contest.
No, according to one lawyer.
No, many lawyers, many.
That's why it's a matter.
That's why it's
subject
to the interpretation of the court.
Ubani SAN. Telling that lawyer, a senior one for that matter, both in writing and in his remarks, he argued it successfully that Jonathan is qualified.
Well, so he can argue it by the end of the day.
But beside that,
the court says that will start.
Will it be easy for him to contest and win the election now?
So your answer, your advice to him,
because if they say he should remain in the South,
I'm going to advise him.
He can do just one term.
I tell him to remain on the sideline.
Forever.
That's it's still young.
Because you've also mentioned that if he doesn't run now, he also cannot run for the next 8 years.
And it's still young.
So he should wait till.
If you look at Jonathan's age and that of Atiku Abubakar, he still has a chance.
So that means we are stuck with having older people, younger people.
No. We're not stuck. It's a free exit and free entry. Political space. If you are qualified, go and run. If you have the money, go and run.
There are millions of Nigerians that are qualified to be president.
There are many people that come and run.
You shouldn't be looking at recycling politicians.
Unfortunately, that's what we are. Joe wanted to ask you about.
Yeah. Just to finalize things, the FCT minister said some journalists or media houses, organizations have collected land and they're using it for business, and that's why it gives the government under its purview the reason to give lands to ambassadors. I don't know what your take is. It was much more like pointing fingers.
More like they shouldn't be questioning.
Like he who comes to equity must come with clean hands type of thing.
The decision.
I don't think the NGE and the AUJ has disputed what Wike said. He has his own facts. And it's not a secret that all the former FCT ministers, including Wike, they've also been giving journalists lands. And even CFO. They give CFO. So it's not a secret. It's a non-thing. But that does not mean that it's not enough ground for him to justify giving land to, this is what this man read on Monday. Giving land to people that are already rich, people that already have resources, you know.
To ambassadors.
Ambassadors. That's not enough for him to justify. Like because you are giving journalists land, so you must give other people. No. That is not. That
but is it
journalists
ethical?
Journalists are Nigerians.
Is it ethical?
They are qualified.
For the
entitled to lands too. You give it to them.
So when they
it's not used to blackmail us.
Are they paying for those lands, or is it a quid pro quo?
No, they pay for it, but very little. It's like a commercial price.
So doesn't that
official price
make them compromise in a
journalists?
Yes, because they won't be able to criticize. I mean, if I've taken a gift from you, why would I come out and criticize you?
Ben Bradley. Ben Bradley is the longest editor of Washington Post, and he was a neighbor to J.F. Kennedy at Georgetown, Washington D.C. So it's not. It depends on how you look at these things.
And many see it as corruption.
No, not necessarily.
Get it.
I'm of a different opinion. I mean, I don't see. I mean, in my years in journalism, I've seen where journalists have done a great job, and those in presidency or those in government feel, oh, listen, let's award this journalist for what he has done. And whether we like it or not, there are journalists who have formed close relationships. Are we going to talk about the special assistant to the former president? There's no way you're going to check and they don't have properties as well. They have homes, they have this, they've gotten things from the government. It's the same around the world. Globally, it's the same. But what we're trying to say here is the FCT minister is saying that as a result of the fact that some media houses got, land.
Media houses, media men, journalists, media houses.
Okay. Yeah. Media men
yes.
Got houses or lands. Therefore, it is justifiable to also give to ambassadors. And we're looking at the optics, especially now that we have housing deficits and so on and so forth. Is it right enough for the minister to say, because of that, it's justifiable to say,
he's looking for an escape route to justify what he has done. That is not tenable. Journalists are entitled, just like other Nigerians.
Because the doctors, I've not heard that the doctors
they're entitled.
They've built houses for the doctors.
Not like some doctors too, not like some professionals. So journalists should not be isolated if they benefit from certain things in the system. So I don't think it should be a moral ground for him to justify giving lands to. It was saying that the president said he should give them land. So every time they come visiting, you have to stay. That is bad.
Were they homeless before?
Then the land. I mean, it's going to take time to build
most of these people
on the land.
He's talking about. You look at what this man read that day. And it's which way Nigeria. These people they are politicians. These are top people. And
former wives of
they already have land in Abuja, and I give them more land in Abuja. It's justifiable. And it's the same wicked way of thinking. It's not tenable and convincing.
Mr. Abiy, thank you so much for being here this morning, for helping us to touch on this story. So the crux of the matter in this conversation is former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, former President Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan should just go and rest.
That's my personal opinion.
Next election.
He's going to be a statesman.
My final summation on this
conversation is that roll the system. Visit the president anytime to visit the president. He should not throw his heart into the ring.
Okay.
My final summation on this conversation is that some persons are of the opinion that the North would have benefited more if he had run, because he would run for only one term, and that would take power back to the North.
Don't forget that.
I want to ask, where is the East?
Nigerians have fond memories of what this man has done. When he was there, economy was the biggest by far in Africa. We were having about 7% growth rate every year when he was there. As compared to when Buhari came and messed up things up, and now that things are not looking a bit too difficult.
But they're always blaming him for the.
So the man, he has a lot of records, But the code is not clear for him. There are many landmines in the front. He's right to run.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abiy, for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. And we have 2 days to the deadline, May 10th. We'll wait to see what former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan does or says regarding this. But now let's move on to bring you updates regarding our town hall, which happened yesterday. Communities across Nigeria's Middle Belt have continued to grapple with recurring violence killings and displacement despite multiple peace-building efforts. Now, at News Central's second town hall in Jos, stakeholders, survivors, community leaders and policy advocates gathered to examine the root causes of the crisis and explore pathways to lasting peace in the region. We had our correspondent, Placidia, was there, and she brings us more in this report.
Middle Belt Town Hall held in Jos focuses on the persistent violence in Plateau State and the wider Middle Belt region. Conflict, participants say, has lasted for decades. Victims and survivors described how repeated attacks have reshaped communities.
Based on her own record, there were 2 incidents where her 3 children were killed. Then one of her sons went to the bush. He's a shepherd. So once he was in the bush, he was attacked and killed. She was home when they brought the body without the head.
They started shooting at the main road where my son went to buy recharge card. So before we could realize that it was terrorists that they were in the area, they have already killed most of the people. So I was at home when the incident happened. All I'm asking now is that if at all the government will help us, I believe that these people, one day, they will be exposed. That is what I believe. I have that strong belief that what they did, they will not escape it. So I'm calling for justice.
With many saying the violence is worsened by politics, mistrust and the failure to address underlying grievances. Others call for stronger government actions, community reconciliations and justice for victims.
So we have to wake up. Injustice is our problem in this country. If we're able to deal with that as a people, it starts from individuals. Because some of us will just come here and talk and rant, and then they'll give us an applause, and then afterwards we're gone. And then we sit and have tea breaks and all that. But the reality of what is going on back home is not what we think. We have to change our mindsets. Injustice has to stop. Politicking with people's life has to stop. Yes, it has to stop.
All the recommendations that need to be made about how to address insecurity on the plateau have been made to the federal government. The question, therefore, is why haven't they done enough about it?
Honestly, we have to keep talking. We have to keep talking because we must hear the different perspectives. It builds understanding. Prof. Turaki spoke here about our humanity. That appeals to our humanity. If we keep shutting each other down or we don't want to listen, then you're not viewing the other person as a human being.
It is required of the Christian community to rise up with one voice and attack the attacker. So it is the responsibility of the Islamic clerics to come up and confront the people that are killing in the name of Allahu Akbar.
Things then took a different turn when a representative of the Fulani community took the microphone to address certain accusations. Not everyone in the hall agreed with his statement.
Please, let's listen.
The Commissioner of Information representing the Governor of Plateau State gave a speech. Also speaking on behalf of all security agencies present, the Chief of Staff, Operation Enduring Peace, Nigerian Army Brigadier General Ahmed Sule called for more collaboration from the people.
If there is anything we owe to the good people of Plateau State, is to stand by that oath that we took in office. To stand by that oath to ensure that peace returns to Plateau. It's not like this governor in question came in and had it all smooth. From the day he won election, a few days after, the first thing we started battling with back-to-back was attacks in Plateau State. And so it prepared ground for him to say, look, it's not going to be a very easy leadership for me here. And that is why he took steps and measures to ensure that we took the right dimension to deal with as short-term, as mid-term, and then the long-term of the challenges that we're having in Plateau.
That particular person, he said he cited them. One of them, maybe 2 or 3 of them were carrying AK-47 rifle. He didn't tell anybody. It was during stakeholder engagement that he's saying it, that I saw them have to run for my life. Who did you tell? Whatever you don't understand, in this just here, there are 1 or 2 persons that were arrested and brought to our headquarters that came and were asking, where is Terminus? How can you be in this just, you don't know Terminus? So if somebody started mentioning, I don't know where is Terminus, you know that this one is a suspect, you have to call us. Maybe before I go, I'll try and make available our very vital numbers that you can call us and get us through those numbers.
As the 5-hour event came to close, the managing director of News Central reaffirmed the station's commitment to creating spaces where difficult conversations can take place openly and solutions explored collectively.
So please, I beg you, in the name of whoever you worship, that please, let's be calm and listen to everybody. No matter what you're saying, whether you've been involved in killing or you've been involved in having to shed tears because somebody in your family died, you still have a right to speak. We are here to find solutions that will bring peace to the plateau and peace to the middle belt of Nigeria.
As insecurity debates continue nationwide, stakeholders say resolving the Middle Belt crisis will require more than dialogue or military responses, but honest engagement, justice, accountability, and sustained political will without bias. In Lagos, for News Central, Placidia Ibekuni.
That is a report from Placidia Ibekuni and highlighting what we did in Jos. This is not our first rodeo, it's not our first visit, and the one thing that News Central has been very particular. It's the same thing that our editor-in-chief would always speak to us about. You must feel the pulse of the people. You must feel the pulse of the people. And that is what we have done with this town hall. It's really sad to see that if you look at the last time we did a town hall, and I asked Bernard this question yesterday, between the last town hall and this town hall, have we seen the import? Yes, he said some things have improved, but they're still dealing with huge levels of insecurity.
And, you know, sometimes, I mean, for not sounding like a broken record, it's important that we continue to talk about these issues. And kudos to the management of News Central for being at the forefront of this. Because, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I know that media organization is speaking directly to the people and stakeholders involved in the issues that really matter, not just in the plateau, but across Nigeria on different issues. It was nice to see the full house and to also give the people a sense of belonging, that, look, there are people that think about us and what happens to us matters to them. And it was important to hear some of the testimonies and engagement from, and it's not, and the beautiful thing about the Town Hall series is all the stakeholders are present. So if I have a grouse with you or it is addressed on the spot and feedback and recommendations are taken. So kudos to the management and staff of News Central for the Town Hall series. It was a success.
It was a success.
We're looking forward to more.
It was. And I must just add my token to it. Kudos to the team. Great job, well done. We look forward to a time where all the things that were discussed and debated upon will lead to peace and stability.
And more importantly, that the people in Jos can go to bed and wake up without palpitation, knowing that they're not expecting attacks on themselves or their loved ones. Exactly. Let's take you through a recap of the conversations we've had this morning and then share with you what's coming up next. This morning on Breakfast Central, good luck, Jonathan breaks silence on presidential race, begins consultation. We did have Habib Aruna join us to explore this. We brought you the update on the News Central Town Hall where stakeholders gathered to seek end to Middle Belt violence. And still talking about Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, his supporters urged him to join the race. Will he accept? I guess we'll find out in a bit. What's still on Breakfast Central? Coming up next, we'll be joined by the aide to the FCT Minister, Larry Olayinka, as he speaks to us about the land allocation allegations and many more. Gabam resumes as SDP National Chairman after appeal court verdict. Chaos erupts as former chairman Gabam attempts to take over. Stick with us for all these and more.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. The Senate has passed the 2.285 trillion naira statutory budget for the Federal Capital Territory while reversing its controversial leadership eligibility rules. Lawmakers also moved to streamline electoral litigation by scaling the Electoral Act amendment bill to its second reading. News Central correspondent Sagir Ibrahim reports on a busy day of legislative and constitutional realignment in the Senate.
2026 FCT appropriation bill was passed following a harmonized report presented by Senator Austin Akobundu. He says the budget aims to accelerate infrastructure across Abuja.
Capital expenditure 1,741,092,043,617 kobo, representing 76.19%.
I support it, but I think that it's important that the basis of the revenue sources should be made available to us.
In a swift U-turn, the Senate rescinded its Tuesday amendment to the standing orders which had restricted leadership contests to ranking members. Senate leader Okpeyemi Bamidele admitted that the previous rule could create constitutional inconsistencies regarding the inauguration of senators-elect.
Senate observes that upon further legislative and constitutional review, certain provisions introduced under Order 2, Subsection 2, and Order 3, Subsection 1, may give rise to constitutional inconsistencies and unintended tensions with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as altered, particularly Section 52 thereof. It is necessary to ensure that the standing orders of the Senate remain fully consistent with constitutional provisions.
The chamber further consolidated electoral reforms by passing a bill to restrict pre-election jurisdiction to the Federal High Court. Lead debater Simon Along argued that the move is essential to stop forum shopping and conflicting judgments that threaten democratic stability.
The amendment before us is not merely procedural, it is institutional. It strengthens electoral justice, deepens democratic accountability, and reinforces public confidence in our electoral process. It is a reform intended to promote uniformity in electoral adjudication, reduce conflicting judgments, discourage forum shopping, ensure timely resolution of disputes, and preserve the sanctity of democratic mandate.
Also, during Thursday's plenary, the Senate confirmed the appointment of May Nasara Illo as Executive Chairman of the National Anti-Doping Center, as well as Rabiu Umar as Chief Executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. From the National Assembly, Abuja, for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
You're welcome back. Busy day at the National Assembly. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue with Breakfast Central. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Tension erupted at the National Secretariat of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in Abuja on Thursday after armed police officers reportedly sealed parts of the party headquarters amid an escalating tension going on. And the incident occurred shortly after the screening of former SDP presidential candidate Adewale Adebayo and days before the party's planned national convention in Bauchi State. The faction led by Professor Sadiq Gombe accused security operatives of aiding an attempted takeover of the secretariat by loyalists of former national chairman Shehu Gabam, whose removal remains undisputed within the party. Gombe alleged that party officials were ordered out of the building before Gabam's camp was allowed access, describing the development as an interference in the party's internal affairs. Now, here's what you should know. The crisis follows conflicting claims over the authentic leadership of the SDP after a court of appeal ruling recognized Gabam as national chairman. The Gombe-led faction insists Gabam was already expelled by the party's National Executive Committee. INEC has updated its record to recognize Gabam as the party's national chairman. The Gombe-led faction vows to proceed with its May 9th convention in Bauchi State, despite the confrontation at the Secretariat. We're now joined by the SDP Secretary for Lagos Chapter, Olushola Olusegun. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us, Olushola.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, so what's going on with your party? There's been physical confrontations, there's dispute regarding leadership, and they have insisted that the convention is going on tomorrow in Bauchi State.
Yeah, okay. There's a clear fact that, we have two factions. We actually have Alhaji Shehu Musa Gaban, and we also have Professor Gombe Sodiq. So this has been, since last year, these battles has been on since last year, when, the Alhaji Shehu Musa Gaban, which is recognized, national chairman of the Social Democratic, has been facing an alleged, misconduct, so, and when he realized that by the National Working Committee, so they took that to court, from the courts, so that was the federal court, the one at the federal court, from the federal court to the Supreme Court. So it was basically, so there was something that was actually not cleared, because what the Supreme Court gave judgment regarding to was basically that, the party has a discretion to choose who exactly they want to be the leaders of the party. So, and they said based on some circumstances, they decided just to remove the national chairman. So they actually got a judgment. So Supreme Court gave them a judgment that INEC has no prerogative to intervene into any party's affairs. So they gave a judgment that, the party has they had liberty to choose whoever they want to. So the other side of Gaban took them to court, because they took them to court that, come on, I'm still the existing chairman. You have to follow the constitutional process, that you cannot just remove me, or, so those things has been there. Gaban got a judgment, he got a judgment from the Court of Appeal that is still the existing chairman. So why the other parties? So, the court INEC has to recognize what the proceedings of the court. So INEC recognized, based on what Gaban challenged them, that he is the existing chairman. So the other side, what Gombe took to court was basically that, he is, they have the discretions, the party has the discretion to choose who they want to be. But Gaban took them to court that he is the existing national. So what Gaban took them to court, they looked at it critically and they realized that, what Gaban said was actually true. So that's exactly.
So from what we have on the INEC website right now, the national chairman for your party, Social Democratic Party, is Shehu Musa Gaban. And then they put in bracket, by court order. Haven't settled that. Could you explain to Nigerians what happened yesterday at your national secretariat in Abuja, and how the situation was resolved? Okay,
after the Gaban was previously alleged, for misconduct, so he was taken out of the office. So, and, the one that got the judgment, that's the Professor Gombe Sodiq that got the judgment, resumed. But Gaban was forcefully taken out of the office, so because they got a judgment. So the judgment actually backed the Professor Sodiq, to be in the office. So that's the judgment that Supreme Court gave before they can actually, took Gaban out of the office. So that gave them the upper hand. Now that the court has actually reinstated Gaban again, Gaban approached the police and presented the judgment of the court that I am the existing chairman, the constitutional, so I don't think they should be in the office. So Gaban approached the police, and the institutional integrity was actually observed. So they did the normal things, which is just to evict them out of the office and put what the court has actually described as the existing national chairman. So that was exactly what happened yesterday.
Okay. With all of this happening now, I did see a video where members of the SDP and members of other political parties, but let's focus on the SDP. They were already alleging and pointing fingers to the APC, saying this is APC at work, that APC is sending police officers and trying to disrupt their chances of being on the ballot. Do you have a different view of that?
Yeah, this is political parties. You actually cannot point and accusing fingers on any political party when you're having a leadership, disputes. This is basically has to do with leadership. So it wasn't SPC that came to, establish the problem in the first place. The problem was there. They were able to figure out the problem, they identified the problem, and they challenged the problem. So was it APC? It wasn't APC. So it was an internal crisis that resulted to the circumstances that we have now. So I don't think we need to drag APC into this, but the problem is that the leadership tells us that has been clarified by the courts. So the court has actually explained extensively on who to be the existing chairman. So they've reinstated Gaban as the existing chairman of the Social Democratic Party. So I don't think we need to bring in APC. APC differs to SDP. SDP has its own internal crisis, and the crisis is already analyzed by the courts, proceedings, and it has been clarified that Gaban should remain as the national chairman of the party.
Drama upon drama.
Okay, so what would you say are the next steps for your party? How do you hope that this will be resolved?
Well, the party has called for unity because we are still the same party. For the fact that we have a leadership, challenges does not mean the party should be in disarray. No, we are still together. It's just that it's the NWC that's actually, combating for the leadership, because you have to, NWC, Gaban has his own NWC, while Professor Sadiq Gombe also has his own NWC. So it's the NWC, the leadership of the party that's actually in contest. But I think the court has been able to analyze that, okay, Gaban should remain and he should be respected as the national chairman of the party.
Okay. The deadline for political party registration, membership, closes in 2 days' time. And then there are talks of the SDP holding a convention in Bauchi State. Is that convention still going to happen? And do you think these issues will be resolved before then?
Okay, in political parties, there is nothing that is not possible. Overnight, they can actually resolve it. So this is basically leadership.
I mean, these issues have been dragging for months, and you think it will be resolved?
At this point, I think what we need to do, what the political party needs to do, is just to look for a way just to settle it, because you cannot continue except you don't want to participate.
Will your convention hold?
Obviously, of course, that has to do with the leadership of the party. I cannot speak for them.
No, but from your perspective.
From my perspective, I believe that the conventions could hold and might not hold, because I'm not speaking for the national chairman. As it is, I don't know what's on ground. That okay, if they are trying to negotiate with the Alhaji Shehu Gamba in order just to reconcile what is on ground.
Okay.
All right.
Well, the drama continues, and we do hope that this would yield positive results, because, like Benga has alluded, May 10 is just around the corner. Convention, not too certain. It seems like the SDP may end up not fielding any presidential candidate. The way it's going. Are you marking that to be?
No, I don't believe the SDP will not do that, because SDP are very pragmatic. They are very intelligent people. So I don't think they will be looking, in a negative perspectives. I don't think they will do that, because we are still, if Gaban is actually, if Gaban has a presidency, INEC will recognize, because Gaban is the INEC recognized, constitutional, national chairman of the party. If anybody approaches Gaban for, contesting for presidency, they will do that.
Just hold on. We have the SDP National Publicity Secretary on the line. He's joining us. His name is Araba Ayinigba. Mr. Ayinigba, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining us to clarify this issue. Good morning.
Yeah, doing great. Thank you.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, I'm sure you could hear what Mr. Olushola said in terms of the faction. What we say is a faction right now, but of course the internal crisis. My final question to him, just before we came to you, was: is there a certainty that the SDP will be fielding a presidential candidate come 2027 with all of these internal issues? What's your take on that, being the secretary right here?
No, thank you. I am not the national secretary. I'm the national publicity secretary. And just yesterday night, I was on Arise television to speak to the issues. The man you have in the studio or who you were speaking with, he got it very wrong. He was not correct with his statement. One, Gaban did not approach any court to contest his removal since he was suspended on June 24 last year. He was validly removed from the party on recommendations of the panel that was set and all of that, and every due process was followed. On the 23rd of October last year, he was expelled, removed based on recommendation of the disciplinary committee and the white paper that was raised. He did not contest this. He didn't approach any court up to today. So the man who says that Gaban went to court it's not correct. Gaban did not. There's no record anywhere in any court of law in Nigeria that Gaban approached the court to challenge his removal. What happened was that the candidate, one aspirant in Ekiti State, approached the court that he had issues with his primaries and whatever to put the party to court. It was that, in fact, along the line, Gaban applied to be his request was dismissed by the court. So the judgment that was given that they are banding around the court order, there's nothing. It was delivered by Justice Wike JCA. It is a 45-page document judgment. Nowhere. That's why we keep on saying up to today that there's no court order anywhere. Nowhere was it mentioned that Gaban should be reinstated. In fact, his name was not mentioned anywhere. So this collaboration and support from INEC by Gaban is obviously a grand plan being masterminded somewhere. It is to intimidate the SDP. It is to frustrate us from feeding a candidate, and that will not hold. The SDP is going ahead with its convention tomorrow in Bauchi, and the presidential candidate will emerge. What you have there is all the shenanigans going on, is the shenanigans of a group of people who, like I said yesterday, what we are facing now is the greatest threat to democracy in Nigeria in 33 years after the June 12 annulment. And this is a threat to national stability. A police would come into a political party premises to say, oh, we have come to effect a court order. Where is the court order they want to produce it? Because there's none in existence. No one is no court order. And they bite in, pull the gate, and tear gas people. The whole publicity structure was there, having planning and the convention. They came and pushed people away, tear gas them, rough-handed people. And at the end of the day, 10 minutes later, they opened the gate for Gaban to come in. Assuming without considering, like I said yesterday on our right, assuming without considering that even there's a court order that Gaban be reinstated, does that make Gaban a sole administrator of the party, that he will be the only check in INEC? The other names, the full complement of the end of the EC is listed on INEC website. So he now comes in and becomes the sole administrator of the party. What kind of democracy? What kind of country are we running? This is not about anything. It's about the true Nigerian interests, the true interest of Nigeria. Mr.
Ayenigba, can you hear us now? Just to clarify, I mean, you're saying that the INEC decision to restore him as a restore him on the website is not backed by a court order. But do you agree that there was a court order, the same court order that you make reference to, that set aside the validation of Gombe? Is that correct?
That was a ruling of Supreme Court now, and it is there for anybody to verify. But this case, I'm telling you, it was manipulated. INEC was ill-advised. INEC was manipulated to do what they did. And you know that apart from Gaban's name, when they offloaded Gaban, they put court order against other names, about 4 other names. When we raised our petition to them, within 24 hours, they quickly removed all those court orders in front of other names and left only Gaban. So why did they do that? This is just a grand They plan to destabilize FCP, to intimidate us out of because of the surging popularity of the party across the nation, in the north, in the south. And that is what is putting the ruling party in panic mode that you see. They are jittery. They don't want a presidential candidate to emerge and contest the election. And we have zoned our party from by the last NEC we did on May 9, which was by monitored by INEC and verified. We have to certify 2 copies of that report of INEC with us. INEC was there. After that, they sent an 11-man team to the same the Gabon Professor Gombe led National Working Committee to do verification. What do you call it? The normal routine verification exercise. And so it led, and they sent all of that. So all of these are just to tell you that there is someone somewhere beating the drum. This is not all the dance you are seeing, dancing here and there. What is being is to a tune that is coming from somewhere. And what we say,
Mr. Enigba, we get the sense of what you're saying. Let's now come back into the studio and have our guest respond. You've heard the statements he's made. He says that there was really no court order that Gabam is holding on to, or that INEC should have made reference to have reinstated Gabam's leadership on the website. How do you respond to that?
Well, I will look at it from a very different perspective, because he's a member of National Working Committee. He's the National Publicity Secretary, and is on the side of Alhaji Sadiq Gombe. So obviously he can actually say anything too. But we as the stakeholders of the parties in Lagos State, actually we are not sentimentals and we are not biased, but we just follow what the law says. We are our democratic principles, and the institutional integrity is there. So we are actually members of the parties. We are not members of the NWC. He is a member of the NWC, and he's on the side of Alhaji, Professor Sadiq. So whatever he says, as regards that, why would there be a court order if there was no court order? So what actually brought Gabam back?
So that's the question, because what we're seeing is that the court order stated that, the Court of Appeal was wrong in recognizing Gombe's leadership, but it did clearly state that as a result, Gabam's leadership has been reinstated. Because again, would it be a situation of INEC misinterpreting what the court intended?
INEC was previously the institutions that actually brought Sadiq Gombe. Well, okay, are we saying that, they misinterpreted by bringing Sadiq Gombe, or they are not professional enough? The same INEC that brought you was still the same INEC that actually brought, reinstated, based on the court, the proceedings of the court, that reinstated, Alhaji Musa Shehu Gaban. So the truth is that, okay, there was a court order. It was actually court order that actually brought Alhaji, Shehu Musa Gaban. If there was no court, why would INEC do that?
What court order was there?
The INEC, of course, that's the appeal court.
So there's an appeal court order of March 27, 2026.
Exactly.
That is being mentioned here. Even after Dr. Gombe was recognized as the authentic chairman in on January 19, 2026. But we're being told that there's an appeal court, CTC, that did come out as well that recognized Gabam. That's on March 27, 2026.
But was he expelled? Very quickly, was he expelled?
He was expelled. He was
just to
Gabam, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was actually the NEC that was conducted. He was expelled.
Yes. So he was expelled. So he was not a party chairman before this court's issue started.
No, because Professor Sadiq Gombe was actually the party chairman. According to the Supreme Court that gave a judgment that the party has the discretions to choose who they want to.
Right, and just to mention that before then, he was suspended, right?
Alhaji Shehu Musa Gaban was suspended.
Gabam was suspended.
Yeah,
the question again I'm going back to is which exact court judgment are we referring to back Alhaji Gabam's reinstatement on the website by INEC?
Yeah, that's the Ekiti, because they were actually looking at the who should be the authentic chairman, who should be the one to sign the documentation.
Okay, That was, okay, let's go back on. Let's see if we have Mr. Ayenigba, just for clarity. Mr. Ayenigba, appeal court affirmed Gabam as the chairman as a result of the fact that there was a 3-member panel. There was a claim that was filed by one Fayemi Babatunde, of which the CTC were told was out and recognized Gabam as the chairman, the authentic one. While that which you mentioned of Mr. Sadiq Gombe was actually authenticated as chairman January 19, 2026. Pretty much seems like we have a confused situation right here. Can you highlight to us if the Supreme Court's decision or ruling, or you could say judgment, is final, what has the appeal court got to do with this? And how come we're still having this issue, which started from way back, even from last year?
I'll go back to the fact to tell you that I still insist that there's nowhere in that judgment that it was stated expressly that Gabam be reinstated. It was what happened in INEC. It was a manipulation. INEC was ill-advised. They are only playing a script. That is the truth of it. And it could be said that they acted in a concept of court. The Supreme Court ruled and even fined INEC 2 million naira. Awarded the cost against INEC. Up to now, they have not paid the fine to the SDP. So what we are saying is that it is not about SDP. It's not about our concern is the imperative of democratic consolidation. It's a concern for us for the nation not to be dragged into crisis situation because you want to satisfy one man somewhere. We're talking about the rule of law. We're talking about democratizing our political space. We're talking about institutional credibility. INEC must gain the trust of Nigerians. You cannot do selective implementation of what court orders to suit the interests of some fellows. So there is nowhere. And I said to you, the man in the studio who you were speaking to, who was talking about INEC, Gabam went nowhere. Gabam did not approach any court. This leeway you are seeing is orchestrated from somewhere. And why? Why did you take INEC that quick response to remove those court orders they are annotated against the names of validly elected people after our petition? If they were sure of what they did, they saw that they had an undeniable, incontestable argument that we put forward. So the issue is not about SDP. It's that Nigerians will be concerned that are we heading in the right direction? And this country is we are getting into a system a situation that will be precarious for national stability. And for us, it's our concern is let the people saddle with the responsibility of administering our national affairs. Do what is truly in the interest of Nigeria, not to dance to the tune of individuals taking the drug somewhere. What they are doing is to destabilize us, to ensure that we don't have a candidate so that the ruling party can have a field day. Everything is a major threat to them, they know, and that's why you are seeing all this manipulation.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ayenigba, for joining and sharing your thoughts with us. You've challenged INEC, challenged INEC of taking sides and being ill-advised, and we will wait to see if you take this matter to court and get maybe an official interpretation of what that judgment meant. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us, and we wish the SDP all the best.
Thank you.
We need to go on a very quick break now, and when we come back, we'll be having the next conversation, speaking with the aide to the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Larry Olayinka, as to some of the latest controversies that have, hit the media, and we'll be back in a moment.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has defended the allocation of land to diplomats, investors, and organizations in Abuja, insisting the policies aimed at promoting investments in urban development rather than favouring elite. Speaking during a project inspection tour, the FCT Wike dismissed claims that the Federal Capital Territory Administration was selling land, explaining that allocations are tied to development agreements and investment commitments, while allottees are required to pay only procedural fees for their certificates of occupancy. The minister also stated that many of the controversial land allocations were approved by previous administrations, stressing that governance is a continuous process. He warned that underdeveloped plots risk revocation, citing Jabi Lake as an example of land reclaimed after years of abandonment. Wike further criticized media organizations and other institutions benefiting from government-allocated land for condemning the same allocation system that enabled their operations, accusing them of double standards.
Now, joining us to put some clarity to the ongoing controversy is the Senior Special Assistant to the FCT Minister, Yunusa Tanko, on public comms and social media. We have Mr. Lere Olayinka. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All right. Before we get into the big pink elephant in the room, let's talk about the background issue that led to this, which is, of course, the allocation of land to ambassadors. That stirred a lot of reaction and criticism, many who wondered why it was necessary. Can you speak to us on he did say, the FCT Minister did say that the President gave approval, but we'd like you to speak on that before we get into the pink elephant in the room.
The President directed that land should be allocated to ambassadors designate. And you know that when you appoint the person who is by right the custodian of land in Abuja, that is the President. The Minister is just exercising that power on behalf of the President. When the President gives that kind of directive, the Minister has no option than to carry it out. And the issue is simple. Ambassador designate are Nigerians, and they are entitled to land allocation in Abuja or anywhere in the country. They are entitled to their Nigerian. So there's nothing about it. And the idea was that, these people will be leaving this country any moment from now. And some people have argued that, some of them lived in Abuja before. But how do you differentiate those who live in Abuja before and those who do not? I know somebody now from Ondo State, Solaiji, who is from Ondo State. He has lived in Ondo State throughout his life. He has lived in Ondo State. So, and now he will be leaving the country, and most of the time, he will be coming to Abuja, probably to brief the President, to brief the Minister of Foreign Affairs on his activities and all that. And probably that was the idea behind it, the judgment of the President, and he gave that directive, and the Minister carried out the directive. There's nothing more, not more than that.
Okay. But the FCT Minister says that land allocation actually meant to attract investment, and also he talked about development. But in this case, critics are arguing that the ordinary Nigerian is increasingly priced out of land in Abuja. So how does the administration respond to concerns that the capital is becoming more exclusive to political elites, diplomats, and also the corporates?
We are the one that normally categorize some people as ordinary Nigerian. What give you the impression that some of the ambassadors to designate are not ordinary Nigerians? Nigerians are Nigerians.
We saw the list.
Through the list.
Listen, Nigerians are Nigerians. Nobody is ordinary. You are not ordinary Nigerians. See, I hate this. I don't want to toe the line of bringing some people down on this with the use of this word ordinary. We are all ordinary Nigerians. I am an ordinary Nigerian. You are an ordinary Nigerian. Even the President is an ordinary Nigerian. We are all Nigerians.
Well, all men are equal, but some men are more equal.
So let's use the word.
What I'm telling you is
that. So let's use the word on the. Let me rephrase that. On the privileged. On the privileged Nigerians.
How do you determine?
Not everyone.
How do you determine on that privilege?
Because that can be easily determined.
You want to say that because there are those people who are government appointee now. How are they more privileged than you? How do you determine? The issue is this.
Mr. Larry.
Nigerians were allocated land. Let me also give you, the minister mentioned one thing. He said that other people had been allocated, given land allocation, including journalists. And that I'm talking to you, I can mention. I don't want to start doing that on. I can mention 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, up to 100, including drivers. Are you also going to call those drivers too a privileged Nigerians?
They are privileged because
they are not
Mr. Larry, just to clarify, no driver on the road will be picked up and given accommodation. Except the driver works within the circles or the confined or confinement, if you want to put it that way, those who are close to power.
You are the one that is saying that. I have told you that even drivers, you are changing the goalpost already. You are saying you are changing the goalpost. You are now saying drivers are no longer ordinary Nigerians because categorize drivers.
So just to clarify,
yeah.
Mr. Lainka, you're saying that you know of many journalists and even drivers who have been given land. Is that correct?
Yes.
What is the basis for giving them these lands?
The basis for giving people land is one. For building for accommodation, and for commercial. Land can be more for residential and for commercial. I need a house. I apply. People are applying every day. You see, a lot of people will sit in their house. They expect that the system will just come to your house and come and give you what you did not ask for. People are applying. And people are getting a land allocation in this Abuja. People don't know. People are applying and people are getting.
Okay, what percentage of recent allocations has gone directly towards mass housing or for low-income or middle-income earners in Abuja? Because we've seen severe housing affordability crisis. Many are priced out of accommodation in the city. So now that you say that, these lands are given, what percentage of recent allocations since this administration has gone directly to lower and middle-income earners?
Let me educate you. Let me educate you.
No, that's a direct question.
I say, you don't ask questions yes and no on this kind of situation. Let me educate you. There is difference between allocation, direct allocation to individual and mass housing. Mass housing allocation are given to people who want to build, maybe property developers mostly. And in the last 12 years, I'm saying this here, in the last 12, 13 years, no single allocation has been done on mass housing in this FCT. In the last 13 years now, it was 12 years last year, it's 13 years now, I'm saying this here on air. No single allocation has been done.
How about low and middle income earners?
I'm coming. Listen, now you're asking questions. Now, why did it happen like that? Because a lot of people have used that aspect of mass housing to become land speculators. People will just go and write application. We want to build estate. We want to do this. Government allocate 50 hectares of land, 10 hectares of land to them, and they begin to partition the land and sell to people. There's an example. Somebody got allocation of 200 hectares of land in East Abuja to build for establishment of a private university. What did he do? He now invited a developer. He invited a developer and gave the land to developer and started selling to people. And this government came and said, no, this cannot continue. Government stopped this, and process has started to start fresh allocation for mass housing. People have been invited. People have been pre-qualified. Meetings have been held. That is, you see, you don't just, if things were wrong in the past, and somebody has come to streamline these things and make things work, it will take time. And I'm telling you that very soon, in the next 1-2 months, there will be allocation for mass housing, but it will now be time bound. If you are saying that you want mass housing land to build estate, you can no longer now collect the land and start selling to people. If you say you want mass housing land, you can no longer now get the land now and say, oh, I'll leave the land there for 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years undeveloped. Those are the measures being put in place.
All right. So you say that
But you've not talked to the low and middle income earners, the allocation.
You see. You are the one talking about low and middle income group. Oh. Me, when you need land allocation, you come to the land department and collect form. When you collect the form, you pay 100,000 naira or so, between 150,000 naira for this process, and that applies to everybody. It's not about somebody being low. It is when the land is allocated to you that you will now be asked to pay some fees for CFO within 21 days. This same system applies to everybody. So and when you are collecting the form, you are filling it. You are not going to write on the form that you are low income person. No, you are not going to write that. So you are the one, and I believe that maybe until the land is allocated to you, that is when you now agree that it is fair.
All right. Now let's get into the media chat. This question was being posed about land being allocated to ambassadors, and then the response and the criticism came up. We saw where the Minister of the FCT argued that media organizations criticizing land allocations are being somewhat hypocritical because many operate from government-allocated land. However, critics have said that this shifts attention away from transparency concerns. Can the FCT administration publicly release details of recent high-profile allocations, including beneficiaries, what the conditions attached are, what the compliance status is, and releasing all of this to address the growing suspicion?
Have you been following the operations of the FCT?
That's why we have you here to help us clarify.
Have you not seen newspaper publications on CFO signed by the minister? Have you not seen publications on land revoked? Because all these things are published, even online. There's nothing hidden. Let me also go into this before you ask. There has been question about Jabi Lake.
Exactly.
Jabi Lake, the minister did this and that, and nobody has bothered to ask question. Land, that place was allocated to somebody over 20 years ago to develop. The person did not develop the place. The person left it there. The tutor was turned to where people go to sell things, go to sell junk. The last time I went to Jabi Lake, that place, that was like 2 years ago. That place was an eyesore. Bush everywhere. And if you were allocated somewhere for a land for development, develop it for tourism, and you did not do anything for 20 years, and government choose to say, okay, since you choose not to do anything, we have seen people that are serious that want to develop the place, and government reallocated the land to those who the government felt are serious, under the condition that, oh, you say you are going to develop this place within 2 years. If you don't, we'll take this land back. And they signed. MOU signed. It was publicized. Your station was at the MOU. Your station, the reporter of News Central was at the signing of the MOU between two companies, Akida and Soboban. So it is now that after 20 years that person has now decided that, oh, they are taking the land from me, and now I'm not ready to develop it. Why? And nobody has bothered to ask question. Why did you not develop this land in the last 20 years?
Okay, I still want to double down on that and speak particularly to the allegations against Channels Television that your principal made, and the question about the allocation.
There was no allegation
that was made 19 years ago.
Listen, I said there was no allegation against Channels Television. You see, we misunderstand.
But he suggested a level of hypocrisy coming from the media. Yes.
It was not an allegation. It is saying that, are you saying that when it happened to you, it is right? When it happens to others, it is wrong. That was what the minister tried to say.
So what was the interpretation of that?
Media houses now refrain from criticism because they've been beneficiaries of land allocation.
You see, what we are saying is that if they give you, you clap.
But they paid for it. They said they paid the charges.
You complain.
But they said, Mr. Larry, but in a clear statement that's been put out, they said they paid the charges. And by then, the FCT minister was not in charge. They paid for those charges. So the statement that they are profiting from...
Even if the minister was not in the office, the minister of FCT from tomorrow, if Wike leaves now and that person comes, he will become minister of FCT. So whatever that is done by minister of FCT 20 years ago, it is minister of FCT. And what we are saying is this. Number one, in FCT, government don't sell land. Get this thing right. Government don't sell land. There's difference between land allocation and allocating land to you and buying land. It is when you get the allocation. What is required for you to get land allocation is IS 150,000.
So were the ambassadors giving forms? Were they giving forms to also fill?
Sorry, before we get to ambassadors, because we're not done with Channels TV. I want to read a quote. The land that you built on Channels, the land that you built Channels on is public land. You are making money out of the public property. Did you buy it? No, it was allocated to you. Am I not going to pay for a live interview? It is not free. Have you seen the list of those to whom we allocated land? It's because these ones became public. Do you know how many people working at Channels TV that have land? So when you say that the minister did not make any statements, this seemed to them, it seemed like a direct attack on the integrity of Channels TV.
It was not a direct attack.
Channels TV has responded. Your ministry has also pushed back on the response.
The minister also mentioned AIT. Listen, the minister also mentioned, didn't the minister mention AIT?
He did.
The minister mentioned AIT. The minister mentioned journalists. He did not say journalists of channel television. He said journalists. The minister also mentioned the journalists in the FCTA press crew.
Okay.
And you and I know that reporter of News Central is in FCTA press crew.
But you haven't necessarily answered my question, Mr. Lainka. My question is there an issue as to the allocation of Channels TV? Do you accept the response that Channels TV given? And
there's no issue. There's no issue. The minister just did an analogy, a comparison that, you are complaining because it was given to
so by people. Asking
it wasn't given.
By asking tough questions,
you did not complain. Simple.
So by just because you've been a beneficiary of allocations does not mean the media should neglect its responsibilities of asking tough questions holding government to account.
Listen, this is one of the hypocrisy we are talking about. Nobody is saying that. As a journalist, I have right to own land in FCT.
Absolutely.
I have right. It is my right. If as you are talking like this, if you get land allocation in FCT, is it wrong? It's not wrong. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that because of that you will not do your job. What we are saying is that if you get, don't say it is right. When you get, and now begin to say it is wrong when others get.
But
the same system that the same system through which you get is the same system through which other people will also get.
Okay, so we'd like you to, is there a website that people can go to who want to get land in Abuja? That's one. Secondly, these ambassadors barely even kicked off. They barely even traveled to their assigned territory or country, and then this was also given to them. Now you see why Nigerians were provoked.
Listen to me. Listen. Those ambassadors, they were not Dutch land, though. The land was not awarded to them. Oh. They will pay for forms. They will make all the, because I know that in most cases, if you get a land, if you allocated a land of like 1,000 square meters now, what you pay on the land for CFO is in the region of 10 million naira. And all of them will pay. We are making it to look like they were given the land free. No, they will make the necessary payment for CFO now. They will make payments. So some of these things we need to get right. And you ask one question: if you need land allocation, you go and collect allocation form. Allocation form is in the Lands Department. It is there free. People go there and collect. When you collect the allocation form, you see there what you should do. You should provide NI, your NIN, your passport photograph, your address, your details, everything. You should provide tax clearance. You have to provide tax clearance certificates. So the moment you do that, then you get what is called acknowledgement. That is what will be used to open file for you. When file is opened for you, then you now begin to, because there are thousands of people that have obtained that, and you know that they cannot be serviced at the same time. So okay, if you service 100, it will remain 900. The remaining 900 will still complain, no. So the process is there. It is fair. Before this government came, you and I, we know that to get C04 in this FCT was a tug of war. It was an instrument for extorting money from people. Today, if you get your land allocation today and you pay for your C04 within 21 days, you get your C04 within 2-3 weeks. Before now, people just collect allocation and go and sleep. Now, if you collect allocation, you must make payment for C04 within 21 days. If you don't pay, the system automatically cancels that allocation. You don't even need to know anybody. Your allocation will be cancelled.
Now, Mr. Oloyinka, let's talk about, still talking about allocations. You've said that the current FCT minister is changing things. You can't just get allocations and let the land to lie fallow without development. So development timelines, you either develop or risk revocation if those lands are abandoned. Can you tell us how many plots or just a figure of how many lands have been revoked in the last few years for non-development and who were the affected allottees? Because critics argue that revocations tend to target weaker entities while politically connected beneficiaries keep land for years. What do you have to say about that?
When people's C04 were revoked for not paying ground rent in Maitama, in Asokoro, can you have any weaker entity living in Asokoro or Maitama? Can you? Do we have weaker entity living in Wuse? You see, the problem with Nigerians is, most of us Nigerians, is that we always look for fault in everything. Let me give you an example. People were allocated land, and this is one thing I want you to listen to very well, so that you also be properly educated on some of these things. People were allocated land for residential purpose, mostly Wuse, Asokoro, central area. They changed the purpose to commercial. Some changed the buildings to hotels, offices, and all that. Under normal circumstances, contravention of change land use purpose is a ground for the revocation of C04. And the minister look at them, okay, you have changed the land use purpose. What we have changed it to, we are going to change your C04 to indicate that what we have changed it to. Come and pay conversion fee. All those who did that were published. Their names were published in the newspapers, unfortunately. And let me also say this, it might sound ridiculous. Most journalists don't read. Most journalists don't read. We rely on them say according to. Now, those people have paid. They have gotten their land use purpose converted to commercial.
All right.
Now, listen, let me end this, please. Now, we hear these stories every day. This place was designated for park and recreation. This was a grey area, and they are building there. A government who could change land use from residential to commercial for private individuals and corporate organizations, So that government does not have power to change land use purpose on other lands. Because every day we hear this land was designated for green area, it has changed. If government designated the land for green area 20 years ago, and the situation has changed, so government who owns the land cannot redesignate that land for another thing. If you buy land and you say you are building a bungalow because of the level of money you have then, can't you? Okay, if tomorrow you now have more money and you say, okay, you want to raise the building, can't you apply to government and do another drawing? I want to change this to 3 or 4 story building. So if individual who owns land change their own land use purpose, so government who owns the land cannot change it.
All right, Mr. Olayinka, we have to wrap up now, but thank you for joining us. We'll continue to follow these stories. We're pretty sure that in the next few days, there'll be more stories, and we hope that when we reach out to you, you would oblige us with your time.
No, we are here. We are here, except this your technical wala. Maybe you two should move to Gusapi or Asokoro.
No,
so
we are in
Abuja already. We have a studio in Abuja.
We sent an invitation to you.
I know that you are in Abuja now. You are at Churchgate. I've been to your office like a couple of times. So.
Okay, we look forward to hosting you in our Abuja studio when next we have this conversation. Thank you for your time with us this morning.
No technical issues in our studio. Maybe the technical issues from your side.
We'll go on a break now. When we return, we have the newspapers to review this morning. Please stay with us.
And we're back. It's raining. Cats and dogs here in Lagos. I don't know about your state, but welcome. We do have Mr. Dotun Ojon in the house. Oh, okay. Is that an insignia?
You have started.
No, it's not.
There's no infinity.
It's not.
Mr. Dotun Ojon is apolitical.
Thank you.
Yeah, he is.
Even though he used to be political.
Yeah.
He's contested for office in
local government chairman, right?
Yeah.
I won't even tell you that. Right?
Okay.
You have to fact check it.
Okay, I'll fact check.
Please.
Let's go straight to our papers. We have a lot to cover. The phone lines are open. It's Friday. Let's see if we can take 2 calls in between. We'll start off with Al Jazeera, jump to Nigerian Tribune, this Nigeria. Let me start off with Al Jazeera first. Try to see if I can read through some of the papers as fast as possible. I'm doing fastest reader this morning, so let's go. Xenophobic attacks, Nigeria can't stand and watch, Minister tells South Africa. As federal government sets up crisis notification unit for Nigerian citizens. We hear a lot of persons want to be back. They want to leave South Africa now. Let's take that big one to Abiodun Summit's form.
They are tired of Amapiano.
As Ogum East Senatorial District consensus candidate, I think that would be a good story to look into. And then 2027 coalition backs Atiku, plans 5,000-man ADC solidarity work. ADC is heading straight for solidarity work. Bandits are not Muslims, Sultan says. And the big ones are also up there, let's not forget. Let's take this one. Dangote molds investment in power generation with 20,000 megawatts project. Reps urges federal government to probe rising cost of building materials. Senate confirms Mainasara Ilo as NADC chief executive. I think, which one are we going for? Which one?
Dakwa Abiodun.
Let's go straight to Dakwa Abiodun. Yes, we saw former governor of the state, Benga Daniel, saying they're trying to stop me, but guess what? They see me rolling.
Hey, you play too much.
He went straight and picked up his phone.
So, what do you make of former governors that feel, the Senate is the next thing to go to, place to go to after spending 8 years? Is there any benefit for the people? They say they're bringing a wealth of executive experience to the Senate, or they just want to continue to enjoy the perks and benefits of being in government?
Perks and benefit, maybe yes, but the most important thing is that the concept of leadership that I've told you in Africa the other day is about ruling throughout life. So, and there are 2 directions to continue to rule after your governorship mandate. The first one is to install a successor, somebody who will be loyal to you, a godson. The second step is actually to find a space at the federal level. Just ask yourself a question. Would Wike be able to fight for Bara the way he has done today if he was not a minister? The answer would be a no. So what most of the former governors are doing is to say, oh, I am going to nominate a successor, but I'm not going to run away from power So let me either be a minister or let me sit at the Senate so that through that office, I am able to actually stay with some power within the federal level. But what happened in Ogun State? You know, the new Electoral Act has actually said the delegate form of primary election is no longer acceptable. So it's either by consensus or by direct primary. Now, in Ogun State, the sitting governor and one of the former governors are from the same senatorial district. And before you can talk about consensus, there are two most important things. If 3 people collect form, for example, all of them must endorse you that, oh, we are withdrawing from the race. We actually allow you to be a consensus. The other leg of it is that when party leaders across the senatorial district come together and say, oh, this is the person we are putting forward. But what happened in the case of this particular senatorial district is the fact that they had actually called a meeting and called all the leaders of the political party in the senatorial district, the ward chairman, the local government chairman, the House of Assembly, the House of Reps people. And they are told the camp of Otumba Gbengadane that the meeting was to hold by either 2 or 4 p.m. And before 4 p.m., they communicated within themselves that the meeting has been shifted to 10 a.m. So 10 a.m., they've gathered, they've done the endorsement of the sitting governor before the camp of former governor Gbengadane actually got to the venue. In fact, from what we got, even when he got there, they didn't allow him to enter. That was where the celebration of the consensus. But majority of the political party leaders in that senatorial district actually endorsed the sitting governor. What do you expect to be their senatorial candidate? And we expect that Otumba Gbengadane has been very prominent. He's been a former governor of the state. He's been very close to power at the center too. We believe that he will be able to also fight back. But should I give you a political prophecy? No matter what he did, it will just be calm down. At the end of the day, we will set you. It's always a political party.
Do you see him moving to another party?
No, I do not see him. It is too dangerous for him to move to another party at this point in time. Do you know why? Now, on the 10th of this month, that's about a few days to come, all the political parties in Nigeria are mandated to submit the digital copy of their membership registration to INEC. So if your name is not on the digital copy of any of the political party as submitted by the 10th of this month, you cannot contest under that party.
It's like the book of life, the book of political life.
Your name
it's not there.
Okay.
It's not a funny thing.
Let's quickly move to the Nigerian Tribune. On the front page of Nigerian Tribune, uncertainty over Jonathan's links to 2027 presidential contest. Senate rescinds amended standing rules, retains previous provisions. We saw that this caused issue in the House. Billionaire drug baron, 2 female kingpins fall in global sting operation. Defection.
Please don't use kingpin.
No, it's female kingpin. Please, let's leave it to the king. Defections hit PDP in Oyo. Aspirants lead Exodus. Party members fill APM forms. Uneasy calm over Adekambi as Makinde's choice. Oweseni resigns as special advisor on security. Electoral Act. New amendments block forum shopping. National Assembly governorship re-election cases start at Federal High Court. Presidency opens at Appeal Court, terminates at Supreme Court. Court convicts ex-power minister
that's a big one.
Saleh over 33.8 billion naira
a conviction.
Fraud. That is a conviction.
It's a conviction. And incidentally, he just picked form. I don't know whether it's governorship or senatorial form. He just did that last week before this conviction actually came yesterday. And now, he talks about...
So instead of serving his people, he'll be serving a jail term.
You can't tell. I don't know whether that's the final termination point of the call, of this thing.
I mean, they say he's been convicted.
Yeah, he actually has the right to appeal.
Okay.
And
before
from the process, from that process of appeal, he could actually win election. We've seen a situation, I don't think it's because APC is there. No, we've seen a situation. Former senator, it's always a senator. Senator Omishore, former deputy governor of Osun State, Iyola Omishore, actually won election. While in prison, he became the candidate of the senatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party. He was in prison, and he won that election landslide. So there's also a possibility. I don't know whether he actually has the right to appeal. If he can, and he does, he can actually win the primary election and still win the main election right before the final conviction comes. So it tells you, and this is what I've been laying emphasis on, There must, if we identify corruption as one of the major problems that we have, there must be a way that we quickly expedite every case of corruption in Nigeria so that we are not slipping over them.
He was arraigned by the EFCC in July 2024 on allegations of conspiracy and money laundering involving 33.8 billion, allegedly meant for the execution of power project. Yeah. So it's part of the reasons why we
don't have. In fact,
but what would convince you that with such weighty allegations, you still have the audacity to
appeal, to want to appeal,
for political.
Okay, to want to contest.
No. Is it that he thinks his constituents or Nigerians don't read or are not informed?
But don't you think this also behoves on the former Minister of Power, who has also gone into politics now, to have held him accountable before leaving office? Because remember when we asked, where are the monies that were actually given to the sector before he got in? He said, no, it was during his time, the monies that were missing. And then you have someone who picked up a form and then now has been indicted.
No, I don't think...
He made a cash payment of 600.
That is exactly what...
That's 200 million naira in Abuja.
To buy a property in Abuja.
And he's working freely.
The thing is that you cannot
even blame...
It's not just working, he wants to contest.
I'm going to add these two together. Number one is that you cannot blame the former minister for anything. It is the duty of the agency of government that has convicted him to have done what they did. Yes. The second part, you were talking about audacity. For any political player in Nigeria today, what gives you audacity is the amount of money that you can throw around. And if you have enough money, sir, and I'm talking from the point of experience, if you have enough money, even be a killer of an entire community, you can still win election. And that's why most times when we curse politicians, when you see them, I just pity us. I think we do not even know the processes that are involved in these people becoming who they became. Our people, we look away from competence to embrace cash at every point of election. At every point.
It's a sad indictment, you know, and they always come up with this, I am ill, whenever they're facing trial. They are never sick when they are chopping the money. How much Justice Omotosha to refer to media reports that, oh, Benny, you are saying you are ill, but are you not the one that is doing political activities? You just purchased a nomination form for governorship in Taraba. What do you mean that you are ill?
How dare you?
How dare you? Who formed you?
How do you exist?
Two forms like this. When he was holding the form, his hand was not ill.
Okay, we'll move to our next paper quickly, but I mean, that's a very important point to highlight there, that actions should have consequences. And why we keep seeing repeated patterns like this is because political office holders know that for the most part, they will get out of office, no accountability, and life goes on as normal. Even if we look at our ministers, the current administration, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, what's her name again? Peter Obi, and the one before her. What has become of it? So judiciary also has a role to play in terms of speedy adjudication of certain matters. If not, we'll continue and then they will now only conclude on it when it needs to be a political matter.
I don't even know what Benga is saying. You just talked about audacity. Now I'm getting angry. What can be more audacious than somebody going to another land to bring a plane and paint it in the color of Nigeria here? What else are we looking for?
That's the
end. There's nothing anybody can say again.
And he has purchased his form.
So what are we saying? It's just, see, I think there must be, one of the reasons why people were talking about 5-year tenure, I don't even know whether I can solve our problem, is because we play politics too much. If this administration decided that I'm not going to build any road, I am not going to do anything, let us deal with corrupt cases that we have, and we concentrate on that. We will have enough money that we will not need to tax most of these Nigerians. You know, when people say, oh, go abroad, they tax. I was seeing Reno the other day making a video and saying, oh, I just bought fuel in England, I just did it. I was just laughing.
Are they corrupt? Do they,
the truth is that
so comparison
is insane. It's insane.
Yes.
It's insane. Now, the money that somebody said, I don't remember the name of the person, that the money they've taken out of Nigeria, people have stolen Nigeria. If you take it out of UK, the UK will be granted.
Do you remember what the former UK Prime Minister said?
It's
fantastically corrupt.
Nigeria is fantastic.
It's crazy. That's what he said. But now, all we are doing is politics. It's politics. It's politics.
Okay, let's talk about, still talking about politics, politics within the Senate. Still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Senate rescinds amended standing rules and retains previous position. Now, Before the reversal, the Senate had amended its rules to provide that only senators-elect who are taking the oath prescribed in the 7th schedule of the Constitution would be allowed to participate in Senate proceedings, including voting in the election of the Senate President and Deputy Senate. But now there's been some form of reversing to, what was
after Senator
Oshomole exactly challenged that and had almost a war of words with the Senate President.
Until you stayed in the Senate for a period of
now,
time.
Do you now see, there was a conversation before I came to the studio where one of the journalists was accusing that maybe most of or many journalists don't get to read. I mean the Senior Special Assistant to the FCT Minister. But let's take this to the National Assembly. How come such alteration is made? Does it mean that the people sitting at that point in time did not know the consequence of the alteration that was made, and to the point of being accepted, to the point that it got to the media before somebody is coming to fight back? I think you see some of these things, and when some sensitive laws are passed, you just want to overlook it, that even the ones that affect the members of the Red Chamber, how much attention are paid to it. And that's why till tomorrow I will believe that nobody will read the budgetary provisions back to back and make some approvals that are being made. It shows that people don't get to read it. And it's not limited to one profession, it's just a general issue. And when we take governance seriously, we must pay attention to the details of everything that is written in the book before somebody is put the gavel down. But this is what we're talking about. It got to a point at the other time, we were talking about, electronic transmission of results. Everybody was protesting. Meanwhile, there were sensitive conversations.
E.g., the forgery one?
Yeah, there were sensitive conversations that were put under the carpet that nobody talked about. This one that we are talking about now, when we talked about electronic transmission, people can talk about, there's no network. I don't know whether you've heard that argument. But now, INEC is mandating all political parties to submit digital register. It means that everybody, including people in my village.
Some parties, like a comment on YouTube says the ADC website is not working.
So they say we should tell you to help us to help them.
If the website, so they can deregister, and if they don't open their website, how would they register? And if they register
for another party, comment. He said, if the ADC doesn't open their website, for those of us who want to deregister our membership, let it be on record via this medium that I, Charles Chiwetalu Dennis, have resigned my membership of ADC. And he says, good morning, analysts. Please help us to tell ADC to open their website and membership registration portal so that many Nigerians can deregister, because it looks like they intentionally put it down.
No. Now, thank God for forum like this. You do not need to deregister electronically. What you need to do is that you write a resignation letter, because there's no provision for deregistration.
Yes.
You write a resignation letter, you submit it to your ward chairman, and immediately you do that, ensure that you have a copy of the letter, go to another political party and register. So there's no provision for deregistration.
About Basanjo style, you give somebody to tear it.
So quickly just go do a resignation letter, and you still have a window of about 2 days to quickly do that. Do a registration letter, give it to your ward chairman, and quickly go to another party.
Thank you so much for that information.
Yeah, that will help.
Okay, let's quickly see if we can run through the front page of this Nigeria, our out of time. Blackout for ex-power minister Maman, and Abuja assets linked to Timipre Silva. We didn't touch on that. EFCC secures interim forfeiture of 9. Court convicts him over 33.8 billion naira fraud. Senate passes 2.285 trillion FCT budget. Lawmakers commend minister for ongoing projects across Abuja. Moles in government communities aiding bandits operation, says Katsina Governor Rada. AI-powered tools pose threats to global financial stability.
The Katsina State Governor really does have a lot to say when it comes to issues of insecurity, terrorism, and suggestions. But it seems the security agencies are not acting on it.
So okay, I don't know whether it's here that I said that, this is a bit sensitive. When you drive on the road and you see a military checkpoint, nothing grieves you more than the fact that when you see the condition they are in, and perhaps if any one of them is bold enough to, and sees your understanding and is able to explain to you that, the condition we are in is really very bad, if you can help us. That is what we never saw while growing up. You will see a military person asking for help? No. But that is the point we've got to. Why? Because insecurity has become a very big economy. And it is not, the problem is not with the gun-carrying members of the military.
It is with who?
It is with the money-carrying members of the military.
All right, hold your thoughts there. Let's take our one and only caller for this segment. Lekon is calling from Lagos. Good morning, Lekon. Thank you very much for calling this very rainy Friday.
Friday morning.
Yeah, I'm ready on leave. I'm ready on leave. Friday morning. Good morning, Lekon.
I just wanted to make a contribution on, like, the former minister that was convicted. I don't know. I think Nigeria, there is just no rule of law. In most countries, if there is a conviction, there is no way you should be able to, I guess, run for a political office. Even if you are appealing the conviction, you should be able to maybe run for the office after the case has been cleared, that maybe the appeal has gone through. I don't think someone should be allowed to run for office where there is a standing conviction. I mean, I don't know. It just seems that we don't get our things right. We don't have, there's no, the rule of law is just mostly ignored. So that's just the way I see it.
Yes.
So until the court
will make you to step aside first until you are clear.
No.
That should make the case faster in court.
So I think where the bulk lies is ensuring that the judicial process is quicker, so that they don't. So even if they're stepping aside, the judicial process runs quickly, so that if they come out innocent, they can continue with their bid.
but so the point is making is step aside first. But what we see here is, okay, look at Hadi Sirika. The case is still in court. We spoke to the EFCC spokesperson. He says, that it's slow, but Nigerians don't understand. Behind the scene, they are working. But the same person has come to the public, to the fore. He has picked up his form. He's going, campaigns have started. He has printed flyers, printers. He's going everywhere. If at the end of the day, the court doesn't find him guilty, which, of course, Nigerians are wondering, how else would you not want, but then again, let's leave it to the law.
So regardless of what we feel, there's a procedure for how the court
Well, we style our democracy after the U.S. democracy. We look up to them. President Donald Trump has 34 felony convictions. He's been found guilty of all 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree, hush money trial, and he's president of the United States today. So, case closed.
No, so
I don't think I don't agree to that.
There's usually a contest between logic and legality. Most often, what is logical may not be legal. We can actually think and continue to talk about the fact that, once this thing happens, you shouldn't do it. But of course, it's still within the legal framework. But I believe that APC will not give him an opportunity to represent them. I don't think that he will be able to actually pass through.
That's what you say.
Yes, that's what I honestly think.
Your thoughts are different from realities. So let's see.
Closing time.
On that note,
thank you.
We close the
I know why you want to close early.
Yes.
I do know why.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a fantastic week for us here. Join Breakfast
And the next
Extra.
time you see Oliver Modi, she will be speaking with a British accent.
Yeah,
I'm going to see the king.
No, in Arabian.
I can just be angry and decide I miss you all so much and I don't want to.
My name is Oliver Morris.
Thank you very much for joining us. See you again
Thank you for watching
sometime
us.
soon. Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
You know, if anybody leaves our village.